Test optional sounds simple, but for a lot of students, it creates a way more stressful question. If I can send my scores, should I? And in 2026, that question is getting even more complicated. For a while, it felt like test optional admissions might become the new normal everywhere. But now, some colleges, especially those highly selective ones, are bringing SAT and ACT requirements back. Now, the good news is, at the same time, most colleges still don't require those scores. So this isn't a simple yes or no solution. Instead, it's a school-by-school decision, and that's why your college list matters just as much as your test scores. So let's start with the basics. Test optional means that you get to choose whether or not you submit your SAT and ACT scores with your college application. If you submit those scores, then the college can consider them. Now, if you don't, they'll simply review the rest of your application. Things like your grades, your course rigor, essays, activities, recommendations, and your overall academic story. So, no, test optional doesn't mean that your scores never matter, it just means that you have some flexibility. Now, here's where things can get a little confusing. A test optional school will consider your scores if you send them. A test blind school won't consider your SAT or ACT scores at all, even if you submit them. Then you've got your test required schools that need those scores as part of your application. And finally, there are test flexible schools, which may require testing, but they also allow different options like the SAT and ACT, of course, but also AP and IB scores. And that right there is why checking each college's policy is a must. So now maybe you're asking, should you even take the SAT or the ACT, even if some of your schools are test optional? For many students, the answer is yes, especially if you're still building out your college list. A strong score can give you more options. It may help at test optional schools, and it can be required for those test required schools alongside certain scholarships, honors program, placements, or competitive majors as well. And if you're stuck deciding between the SAT and the ACT, the good news is colleges generally don't prefer one over the other, unless they say so specifically. The better test for you is the one that helps show your strengths. Now, those tests have evolved over time as well. Not your parents' SAT and ACT, as they say. The SAT is now digital, shorter than the old paper version, scored on a 400 to 1600 scale, and allows a calculator throughout the entire math section. The enhanced ACT uses a 1 to 36 scale and now gives students a little more flexibility, with the composite score focused on English, reading, and math. Science may be optional depending on the testing setup. A smart move on this? Take a timed practice SAT and a timed practice ACT, and then focus on which one you perform on better. So, when should you submit your scores? Start by comparing your SAT or ACT score to the college's admitted student score range, often called the middle 50% range. If your score is within that range, or above it, submitting it can strengthen your application. Scores can also help if they add positive context to your academic record. For example, if your GPA is strong, your classes are challenging, and your score backs that up, it gives admissions one more reason to feel confident in your college readiness. Now, going test optional may make more sense if your score is well below that school's typical range, or if it just doesn't reflect the kind of student you are. Maybe your transcript is stronger than your score. Maybe your essay, your activities, leadership, or recommendations tell a better story. And if that's the case, you may want the rest of your application to lead. Now, I gotta tell you, one of the biggest mistakes the students make is treating this all like one big decision. They submit their scores everywhere or nowhere at all. But the thing is, a score that helps you at one college might not help you at another. Again, this is really a college list strategy and not just a testing question. Another mistake? Deciding based only on how you feel about your score. The better question to ask yourself is, how does this score compare to the students that this specific college usually admits? Now, here's a simple way to decide that. First, check each school's testing policy. This includes testing required, test optional, test blind, or test flexible. Second, look up the admitted score ranges on the college's website or in a common data set. Third, compare your scores to that range. And finally, ask yourself the question, Does this score make my application stronger for this specific school? If yes, consider sending it. If not, then going test optional might be the better call. The big takeaway here, test optional still gives students some flexibility, but it's worth noting that the college admissions landscape is changing. More schools are asking for scores again, and even at test optional schools, strong scores can still help. So instead of making one blanket decision, build a strategy around your actual college list. You can use Appily to compare schools on your list and make a smarter call about where scores may help. Because ultimately, the goal isn't to submit more information everywhere, it's to submit the right information to the right schools. For more practical college admissions tips, check out the full article on appily.com and subscribe to our channel for more tips on how to navigate your college admissions journey. You've got this, and we've got you.